Alright y'all, what it do? What's up? Your girl G here. Welcome back to my channel. Appreciate you for tuning in. I know I'm coming to you guys a little bit late with Real Housewives of Atlanta, but honestly it's because this episode was really kind of light. You know, it was some good stuff in there, but it wasn't like too much, you know. But I had a doctor's appointment and y'all, my flabber was gasted. Tell me why she didn't get. Okay, so I lost a lot of weight, y'all. I went down to like 200 and something pounds to like 158, 160. I had IBS with a combination of anxiety, depression that literally took my weight down. And I had a lot of gastro issues or whatever. And so I just lost weight, really. But I got too bony. Like, I was looking at videos and like I literally was just too bony. I was like 180 in high school. So I told myself, okay, let me gain a little bit of weight back. Let me get to like 175, 180. Bitch, I done overdid it, y'all. I done overdid it. I done gained way too much weight. I done gained like 12 pounds more than I wanted to. So I ain't liking that. So yeah, that girl put me in a little shock yesterday. So I was just like, oh Lord. And so I just couldn't even get up and talk to y'all. I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. This shit blew my mind. But you know, I'm over here getting heavy. We're gonna talk about these girls with all these heavy asses, because all I saw was booty and butt cheeks and ass and Phaedra to Britt Edie. Y'all, I knew Britt Edie had a booty job, but like seeing it like a lot more close up is like, it's giving real Zeus Network BBL, okay? But let's go ahead and get into the review. Let's not waste more time. That's what y'all here for, Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, hey, if you're new to your girl's channel, hey, appreciate you for tuning in. Will you go ahead and drop down and hit that like button if you don't mind, okay? It would do your girls wonder in the chat. I need to start being more consistent, you know, on this channel. But you know, I've been reaching a new audience. So go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to your girl's channel, drop down in the comment, let me know where you found me from. That'd be great, okay? All right. It's free 99. That's all I can say. It ain't like Apple. Ain't like you're gonna wake up on your Cashapp and see $7.99 missing, okay? That's not my stilo. But let's go ahead and get into it. So we open up the episode with Drew and Angela. So Drew and Angela are basically recapping the night after everybody had their woes with Shamia and the tears and whatnot. Basically, it was Twerk City, okay? It was, you know, Twerk Team for the millennials. Y'all know what Twerk Team is, okay? But yeah, that was all Twerk Team. We all know Portia, she always down to shake ass. And so in the playback, basically it was like Drew and Portia were like okay with each other. And so they're kind of feeling like finally some good energy around this bitch, okay? But you know, although it's good energy with kind of the group, you know, Drew and Angela kind of noticed like, wait a minute, it's a little, you know, weird energy with what was it? Britt. I'm thinking about the wrong thing. That was Portia, and then I talked about the energy between Kelli and Britt. They ended up talking about Britt and her for colored girls moment. Just, but girl, I'm here for you. I'm here for you, okay? You know that? Like, I love you. Regardless of what we're going through, I will be here for you. This is a sisterhood. Angela was like, girl, I saw your face, and Drew was like, she was like, she's like, girl, you was not hiding it at all. And Drew wasn't. There have been many scenes where Drew has been in the background and you see her face kind of do like a, and it's like, yes, Drew, that's exactly how we are all feeling, okay? So, they just were kind of like Britt was doing a lot, all right? But, Shamia and everybody, so far so good. So Shamia, speaking of, she's actually on the phone with her mom, and her mom was like, she came over, the poor baby was cold. And then, okay, so this is where my main question is, one, your husband is in control of the temperature of the house, correct? I would think so, right? Okay. Who's the nanny that was watching, one? And two, was your husband so far removed from your daughter in the situation in which it's like he ain't really, I don't want to say checking up on, but the fact that you felt like you walked in and the baby was just so underwarmed or whatever. It was so, they were like, yeah, the nanny was over there. She had a blanket and a hot blanket on or whatever. One of the electrical blankets, which I got me an electrical blanket for Christmas. I'm so excited. But it's summertime, so I can't even use that hoe. Yeah. And so I'm thinking in my head, like, y'all can't be mad at the girl because y'all house cold and she decided to warm herself up. But also, like, did y'all give her instructions? Did y'all tell her about the baby and, her ills or things like that? Like, I don't know. I just feel like the husband felt like he slipped up somewhere, and in order to cover his ass a little bit, he, like, blamed it on the nanny a little bit because, like, she cold, but that the temperature of the house is what is responsible for that. So I kind of feel like low-key he don't want to acknowledge, like, oh, I wasn't, holding up my end of the bargain, knowing that my baby can get sick. But nonetheless, the baby's okay. So Cynthia, Portia, and Phaedra, they all get together. Cynthia and Portia were just kind of first talking, and we're really just kind of like, girl, like, last night was fun. Everybody was like shaking ass, and it was just a good old galley time. And so Phaedra, she knocked on the door and comes in, and so they're always just talking about like how fun it was, yada yada. And then they start getting into like the Kelli and Brent of it all. They all are kind of talking about how they've noticed, like, wait a minute, last night Kelli was a little quiet. She was a little, hush hush when it came to Brent in this situation with Shamia and the donating and whatnot. And Cynthia was like, girl, I noticed it too. And Phaedra, her mind is like, well, yo girl Kelli, I mean, she was just trying to let you know, because, we can't be over here riding around in Rolls Royces and bust downs and can't give to the needy, And Phaedra just like, man, that's the scammer starter pack in Atlanta. Shoot, the bust down, the Rolls Royce. That's like, it's what they call it, scam Atlanta. And she was like, hell, we even at one point had to go to cards. We couldn't even use cash. And I remember that. I don't know if y'all remember, but there was a time where like fake money bills were coming out everywhere. Because my mom at the time, she worked at a superstore, like at Walmart. And so she was saying that like they were giving them like tools and stuff to use on the dollar bills because there was so much fake cash coming out. So I remember, I don't know, y'all drop it in the comments to tell me if y'all remember that. But that's sad. Like literally, we can't even take no money. Like all you niggas and scammers out here.
The ghetto.
So yeah, they're discussing the whole Kelli and Brent of it all. And of course, Phaedra's like, it's kind of giving like ghetto freaking frack. Portia called them Ren and Stampy. I ain't gonna lie, that laugh, because Ren and Stampy I used to love watching growing up. But now that I'm older, watching it back, like they was doing some wild shit on Ren and Stimpy. It's a lot of cartoons that we was watching, and now that we older, we kind of like, well, wait a minute. So yeah, they're kind of noticing, like, at first it was Kelli and Brittany, Tweedledee Tweedledum, and they are just going through like Thin Mint twins. But now all of a sudden, ever since the whole donation thing, it's given, Brent's on ice with Kelli. So Phaedra was like, well, girl, I got some tea, so I'm gonna let you know that allegedly, Brent's feeling some type of way because of a whole stylist situation. And Kelli's side of the situation, or Kelli's side of the story, is she was letting Brent use her team, while they were on that vacation, just because she was going through a hard, just, on some friend shit, like, girl, let you feel good for the moment. Well, I guess Brent took that as a like, hey, well, I'm gonna use your team going forward from now on. And so Kelli's kind of like, well, wait a minute. Bitch, I was, I was giving it to you and everything, but I was just doing it till you found your little clique, your little crew, to take care of you. And like, I get it. Although those things kind of seem petty, but we know in the fashion world, the entertainment world, that stuff happens where it's like you have a certain stylist, a certain designer, and it's like, oh, well, I use them. And the only reason it's really kind of like that too also as well is because certain stylists, you know, have a certain, you know, look or je ne sais quoi. Like how Law Roach, although he is used with a lot of celebrities, you don't think of Law Roach and not think Zendaya. You get what I'm saying? So I just kind of feel like, I think Kelli in that situation was like, you know, I get where she's coming from. But Britt, as we hear later on, she was kind of like, that ain't how it happened. Like, Kelli, like, because Kelli is claiming that Britt had a meeting with all of them at her house, like some secret meeting or whatever. And Britt's kind of like, that ain't what happened. Like, you told me, like, okay, hey, you can use them in a sense. And so, allegedly Paris or whatever, the stylist, was going in on Kelli on social media, but I didn't get into all of that. But nonetheless, the ladies were just in there kikiing about Britt and Kelli kind of being on shaky waters, and then they end up getting into the fact that Britt, Phaedra was like, yo, her titties last night was poking in and out, like her boo fell after she got butt naked, because we saw her get bucket naked. Okay, shout out to Bernie Mac. It's gonna be trouble. But I tell you, Players Club is my favorite show or one of my favorite movies. Okay, he's in the movie The Race Above Me. It's gonna be trouble.
No, I just said,
Blue, if I raise up, gonna be trouble.
So yeah, so she was talking about her titty popping out, and so she was like, it's kind of like a trick or something. And so Portia was like, yeah, like your clit. And Cynthia was like, what? And she was like, your clit. And Cynthia just kind of like pulled her little thing over her head, and she was like, girl, because your stuff got a hood, like it pop out. And the first thing I thought in my mind was, Portia, when did you see her snatch? And the only thing I can think back of is that trip to South Carolina. First of all, these girls is lesbianist, okay? They is giving real lesbian relationship, okay? And they've all clearly seen each other's insides from the clit to the booty hole. It's giving. So when Portia said that, I was like, y'all, Portia, but she was serious when she said, one of you just eat me out tonight. She was so serious about that. It's giving her should be a definitely that has some experiences with each other. You know, it's not uncommon for girly friends to at some point, had some sexual interactions, you know, with their friends. And especially the way they was ripping and running the streets trying to find them, a 6-figure nigga. I wouldn't be surprised them hoes that had late nights in a hot tub on some lesbian-ish trying to find their next scammer. But nonetheless, yeah, when she was talking about Cynthia, she was like, girl, she's like, it has a hood. And Phaedra was like, the KKK? She was like, not the KKK clit. I was like, oh, Lord. So, yes, okay, y'all, for biology purposes, some clitorises have a hood. You know, some men need to learn that as well. But moving on, so Kelli and Brittany. So Brittany comes into Kelli's room, and, you know, she's checking on her, and she's just kind of like, yeah, girl, like, I just want to kind of check in on what's going on with us, because it's kind of feeling like some weird energy, you know? Actually, before they got to that, Kelli started talking about her divorce. She's going through the divorce right now. I really do feel bad for Kelli. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I could not imagine being in the situation that she's in with 4 kids, let alone 4 kids, 4 daughters. 4 daughters. And this is how that man is acting. You know, the leader of the household, the foundation, the structure of the family. You know how you love to say. 4 girls are having that as their example. Madness. And then it get crazy. Because from the preview of next episode, Kelli talking about he done went to jail. So, tragic. But she basically is discussing, you know, how the divorce has been stressful, and You know, that's why she wanted to come to Grenada to kind of get away from it. And so basically, Britt's kind of like, you know, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong, you know, because I feel like we discussed this whole donation situation. And for me to be at the table and then like Shamia going in on me, you're not saying nothing, like the fuck. And I really kind of, you know, Britt, you know, Britt is who she is, but, you know, I'll never, you know, not acknowledge somebody even if I don't like them when they right, because I'm gonna be I'm gonna be with you when you're right. And Brittany is right in this situation because like her and Kelly clearly came into this as a newbies, friends, whatever. And Kelly is looking to find her two peas in a pod. She wants her freaking frack, right? And so for you to kind of like be friends with Britt, and the minute that shit happened, you kind of do the switcheroo, and now you all up on Shamia's ass cakes is, you know, a little wishy-washy. And so I get Brittany's absolutely right, especially when we find out the fact that Shamia already talked to Brittany at Houston's outside of filming. So it's given you really was trying to let these bitches embarrass me in front of Cam, and you supposed to be my friend, and like, you know, through having conversation with Shamia, what's up, and you not telling me, like, I'm gonna feel some type of way. Like, I get what Brittany is saying. And the Kelly's only, you know, rebuttal is, well, you know, I just really, you know, want you to walk in your purpose, you know, like, you can do things, you know, with the, especially with, you know, Shamia kind of, you know, everybody's saying like, you know, you took your workers, you took your employees, and y'all all got y'all's bodies done. But see, did Brittany say she took her employees to Miami, or did she say they all went? Because I feel like Brittany, so you gotta listen to what people saying. Brittany said, I got my BBL done, and everybody else, like, they all went to Miami. They all picked a surgery. Like, as in, all her friends picked the surgery. We all picked the surgery that we wanted to get done. We all went to Miami at the same time. And, like, y'all dropped down in the comments. Did she say verbatim, she took them, like, she might have maybe paid for the flight, but she ain't did all that. Like, when she's like, oh, I took all my like, we all went to Miami. Like, you gotta listen to words. People saying be specific, you know, with the details. The devil's in the details. But nonetheless, Kelly's basically saying like, girl, you can't be talking about, you know, flossing on plastic surgery, but, you know, you ain't giving to the needy. Girl, you showed up with 2 paper rolls of Bounty and some tissue paper. And see, what a lot of people also don't consider too when it comes to like donating, a lot of times people really under evaluate like how, or like underestimate, that's what I'm looking for, underestimate how much like feminine products are super important during like times of like donating and things like that. And so that's one of the things, you know, I think a lot more people should think about donating, not just clothes and toilet paper and, you know, Brittany, I'm telling y'all what happened. She said, Shabby, you let me know at the last minute. Brittany basically on the way to the shoot stopped by Dollar General and packed 2 boxes. That's what happened. She definitely, you know, could have gave a little bit more, at the minimum 500, you know, but nonetheless, Brittany and Kelly are just kind of like on grounds. So all the ladies, they meet up by the pool, and Drew and Kelly, they're all sitting down, kind of having conversations, and Kelly and Drew end up realizing they have the same wedding anniversary. And so they just, you know, just kind of start discussing like, you know, what it was like for her, what did she do usually on those days. And she's like, you know, I usually just kind of cry, you know, and try to basically like move on. And for Drew, she's like, no, because Kelly was like, this year would have been our 10th anniversary. And Drew basically is like, girl, this August is our 10th anniversary. And so y'all, August is literally right down the street. And I'm already hearing that they're allegedly been pictured together. I'm feeling like, Drew, bitch, don't you do this vow renewal just to say you did a vow renewal. Don't you do that shit. Ralph is a mess. His old onion head ass Don't do it. Like, don't do it. Yeah, so they just kind of realizing like, damn, we got a lot in common. So as that's happening, Britt's MIA, and so Cynthia messy ass, because everyone's like, oh, where's Britt? Where's Britt? Cynthia goes, Kelly, where's Britt? I don't know if y'all picked up on that. Cynthia, I was like, bitch, you messy. And it's because basically it's been Kelly and Brittany, you know? So Shamia comes out, Brittany comes out or whatever, and the tourist dude comes or whatever. And so of course the girls immediately went into heat. They started throwing coochie at him just left and right, just throwing it, just like tomato. They was throwing the coochie at him, okay? Get them all hugs and everything. This whole trip to Grenada just been doing nothing but throwing cat at these men, all right? So he basically, you know, is checking in with them. Kelly once again, passive aggressive ass. Oh, Brittany, hey, this is so-and-so. You know, he's the one who helped us with the donations and everything. And I'm just like, Kelly, like, I really do like Kelly, y'all, but like, damn, Kelly, you was a flip-flopper. Like, I get it. Like, this is your first year. You want to, like, I don't know, like, I get it. You want to find your spot on here and kind of make sure you good with the girls. But that in the long run, it's going to get you in a lot of shit, okay? But nonetheless, they all are basically talking about jab, and it basically is what, you know, black people do. We turn something that they try to make negative into a positive. And so everybody's going to get all dressed up and slick in their black oil tonight, and, you know, they're going to shake and do the dirty wine, okay? Do the dirty wine, all right? So what else happened? Oh, Kelly and Shamia came out looking like Thin Men twins. And Angela was laughing. She said, Britt gonna be mad. Talking about, twin, where have you been? And it was like, it's another way that Kelly is being. I don't like passive aggressive behavior. I do not. And Kelly is just giving like, bitch, you've been cut. Like, you can't sit with us. Like, it's giving real Regina George, Gretchen Wieners. Like, you can't sit with us. And I don't like it. It was funny too, because when old dude left after they did the shot with him, Portia was taking a picture. It was just like, shit, I'm leaving here with something. And she said, all this true, this whole trip to Grenada, her face was over there talking about shit. I'm leaving here with something.
I'm leaving here with something.
They coming home with some type of dick, okay? So, Portia ended up giving her a big, you know, hat photo shoot to Shamia. And she's like, you know, Shamia's just been going through so much, you know, so I just wanted to give her that moment. So Shamia walks out in her big straw hat. It was cute. But Shamia, girl, her immediate reaction to always want to, like, make sure she proves to the world, but also Portia, like, see, my best friend, like, that's gonna always be my friend. Like, you know, see, that's what a friend does. Like, I think Shamia has always been in the mindset of, like, never letting this show tear them apart, or making sure, because she knows how Portia is through being a friend with her, that, like, I'm acknowledging, like, she's my friend. Like, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm recognizing all the things that Portia does for me as a friend. You know, it's just kind of like, girl, yeah, she gave me a cute little photo shoot and everything, a little yang. But it don't change the fact that when y'all was sitting there at that dinner, that bitch was clanking, you know, silverware in the middle of y'all's conversation. So, like, I just like Shamia. Shamia, girl, I really like you. I really do. I'm trying, boss. I'm trying, because I really do like Shamia. She just got some ways about her in her relationships that clearly need a little bit of help. What else happened on the pool? Did anything else happen at the pool? Oh shit, Angela. When Kelly left for her divorce hearing, Angela ain't waste nan time. She said, so Britt, how did the talk with Kelly go? Okay, like, did y'all talk about it? Like, what did she say? Like, what happened? And of course, you know, Britt was talking about, you know, her basically addressing the fact that it felt like, damn, why you let them all, like, jump on me? Why you let them bitches jump on me like that? Like, They was literally just sitting outside like, we just want to talk. Like, you knew them hoes were trying to jump me when they knocked on my door. Like, we just want to talk. Like, girl, you my friend. So I just was laughing because Angela was on it. But Kelli leaves for her divorce hearing. And she basically also is like telling Drew as well earlier that he's on his 6th lawyer. She's like, bitch, Ralph is on his 3rd. It's just kind of like, why are they doing this? And, you know, she's in the confessional basically like, you know, my ex is really trying to do everything he can to make this so hard for me. And she's like, yeah, you know, I really try to carry on this energy, bubbly, but like, it's because I'm hiding what's going on inside. And her and Kelli and Shamia are very similar. They both are very eccentric and kind of always trying to keep the party going and laughing. Like, people who are like that, I relate to because I very much am like that. I very much grew up like that, you know? And so I really do feel for Kelli, because imagine that weight, and then bitch, she got like $158,000 she owed to the lawyer, and then the lawyer slick at the end was telling her, you know, run me my money in a nice way, kind of like, you know, she's like, do I need to do anything? Because she found out that the husband done sold the house allegedly that he gifted her or some shit like that. And so she was like, well, do I need anything, you know, to give to you? He was like, no, just maintain your balance. Kelli was just like, okay. I was just like, oh, Lord. I was like, Kelli, bitch, you sitting here, you know, trying to run jokes and shit on Brit, but bitch, you might not be too far after her. Okay? You're going to be selling all them Chanel's, what did Carly Rae say? Gucci, Prada, Louis, pop them tags. Gonna be selling all them 17 gifts that you gave to your daughter, all right? So it's time for Jab Jab. All the girls are getting all lubed up and bucket naked, and they go out there and have a good old time. Phaedra, her ass was lifted up, slow winded on the table, okay? Because as the man, he said, you better use your body properly, okay? And they were just out there having a good old time. Bitch, Portia was shaking it. And Cynthia was over there just like, woo, I got a man. Like, yeah, I got a man. Amsterdam is where I want to be. This girl, Cynthia, that had her hair. I felt like it would have been easier to put her hair up like on the top of her head and then put like a bun, kind of like stocking cap on, versus like having 2 pigtails with like long ass condoms on them or something. Like, I just feel like that would have been easier. But nonetheless, you know, they had a good time at Jab Jab. They was turning up, getting lit, drunk, okay, baddie, shot o'clock. They was just very much trying to prove, let's have a good time, okay? So it's the next quarantine. Everybody's still lit, still scrubbing off the night before. They were laughing about how long it took to get it off, and Britt was like, shoot, if I need to do it, I will. Like, I was scrubbing Phaedra down, all the way down to the booty hole, child. I seen everything. I said, these bitches really get lesbian. Like, when they drink a little bit, that lesbianas come right on out of them, don't it? So, they're all at the table and just kind of recapping, and Kelli gets asked by Drew, you know, like, how did your, you know, divorce hearing go, whatever. And she was like, you know, it was just a lot, and like, I really don't want to go back home to my reality, because like, it's too much, you know. And so she was like, and the crazy part is, the minute I got done with my Zoom meeting or like the conversation with my divorce attorney, I get up and my crystal drops, and everybody kind of was like, because anybody who's really into just kind of like, you know, the universe signals and just crystals and just knowing that everything in life naturally carries its own energy, and something like a crystal, in which, you know, was already previously used for, you know, kind of like good energy with the ladies, and using it kind of like as the speaking stone or whatever, you know, it's for a positive purpose. So for her to get up and then that bitch crack in half, it very much means something. So she was like, I just had to Google it, and basically it symbolizes the end, you know. And what it is for her is the end of her relationship. And although it's very much hard, I know a lot of women, it's like, she's like, the hardest part, and I think it is hard, like the grieving process. A lot of women in particular, it's like they know leaving the relationship is what is necessary, but the idea of having to grieve a whole life, a whole fantasy that you pictured in your head. Because Drew said the same. She's like, I thought I was going to be married to Ralph, you know, for the rest of my days. But like, here I am in this situation, you know, thinking that he would be committed for the kids. He would, you know, we would be working really hard to maintain this family. Like, it's hard, you know? And so a lot of people, it's so much easier to stay in the mess of what you know versus dealing with the pain of the unknown is just often what's done. And one thing that helped me, and just not even with relationship, but just life in general, one tip or one memento that I can leave with people is choose your hard. The decision is always going to be hard. Choose your hard. Staying in the situation that you're in that is not good for you, that you know makes you a certain way, that you know is not healthy, is hard. But so is starting over. So is, you know, the first step out of the box of, you know, that uncomfortability. That is hard as well. But you're going to have to pick one. And although you may not know what is going to happen in the future on the outside of you stepping out of, you know, your comfort zone, what you do know at least is what you're currently in. That's a mess, that is unhealthy. This is what you do know. You do know that this is what's going to last going forward forever on. But at least with the other hard, at some point, if you're doing it right, that hard is going to slowly, you know, dissolve. So it's like in life, you're going to have to pick your hard, you know? So she gets up and she throws, you know, the crystal over, and everybody just kind of was there for her. It was a cute little yang. And then that's kind of where the episode ended, you guys. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. Drew and Angela, Drew and Angela were talking about that. Brittany and Kelly with the stylist, and with Kelly and Shamia, the ladies talking about Cynthia, her clit, Kelly and Brittany, Shamia talked about her daughter. I really think Shamia carries a lot of guilt, not only having a girl, but having an unhealthy child. And I mean, not unhealthy, obviously the baby, but I mean having an atypical child, having a child that has, you know, issue, like, you know, health issues, you know. That is a weight that a lot of women carry because you feel like it's your fault. I'm bearing this child that has difficulties and has all these different types of issues. And a lot of women internalize that, and in turn, they're already internalizing the fact that, oh, now my husband doesn't have this legacy. Like, she's going to continue trying for the boy, because especially in like, kind of like that African, you know, diaspora, the Nigerian, like all of it, it's very much like type A, and anything different from that is immediately rejected. And it has to be this way. And so like, to know that in her mind, she's feeling like, I'm not only not delivering on a healthy child, I'm not delivering on like a boy or whatever, like, which is the man's fault, you know, but nonetheless, it's like, she's carrying a lot of weight for that, and I hate that for Shamia. But yeah, I think that's really kind of the only thing left. Portia, bitch, you know, you funny and whatnot, but that funny still don't take away from the fact that you, at the end of the day, is a garbage human being. Garbage, okay? Y'all make sure to follow my Instagram and Twitter, okay? Drop it in the comments what you feel about the episode. Like the video, okay? Like. Y'all know what the fuck is up, all right? I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all hoes later. Deuces.